shit type shit. Let me get this fucking thing turned on. Bruce Banner is live. Live and live and live and nothing. Dun, dun, dun. Everybody ready? Go. Nothing. Danceville. Oop. No one's here. Oh, we got 5 in here. Someone had a comment. Hey, 5 people are in here. Come on, someone start talking. All right, what we got here is a spread of 4 different barrel lengths of AR. I wanted to set them up side by side so you could see the barrel lengths better, but they didn't all fit on the table that way. So we start with a 5-inch AR9 and go up to, I think that's a 20 or a 22.65 Grendel. So that's what we got on the table. We got a 9-inch AR9, excuse me, a 5-inch AR9 with a can on it, an 11.5 AR-15 pistol with a can on it, a straight 16-inch intermediate battle rifle. I don't know what the hell you call it, just kind of a standard AR with an LPVO, with a Vortex LPVO up top, and then a 6.5 Grendel Bear Creek bolt action AR with a 6-24 Arkin on it. Anybody talking to me? 5, watch, come on, you guys, somebody say something. Everybody welcome in. Come on. Can you hear me okay? Compliant, welcome in. Glad you made it. Can you hear my voice okay? Come on down. Okay, cool. What's up, my brother? Well, I got my cigar lit and got the set lit as best I can, considering what I have to work with. And off on the, let's see, can you see all the iron okay? Can you see what do you want to talk? Which one should we talk about first? Which should we go left to right or right to left? We could do clockwise. Right on. So it's a little light on the lighting on this side. But what I really wanted to do was kind of have them all lined up, at the end of the receiver so you could see the different barrel lengths. Just to kind of, I guess what I'm doing here is showcasing the versatility of the AR platform in terms of, well, you go from a little 5-inch shorty AR9 all the way up to, to 10 and a half and a 16-inch fighting rifle, bug out rifle, whatever you want to call that. Those are just my sort of go-to fighting rifles in the middle, and then on the left is the Bear Creek bolt action AR on an AR-15 mil spec lower with a 6-24 first focal plane scope. That's probably a easy 900 yard rifle, easy, probably 1,000 yard rifle, easy. So yeah, that is a PCC. That's a Foxtrot mic lower with a 5-inch that I built. I don't remember what barrel's on it. It was 5-inch barrel, 4.5-inch, 4-inch handguard. It was a bitch finding a small handguard that fit, and then and a JK 155 9mm can, and a Holosun 512C, I think that is, or 512T. That's the enclosed emitter with the multiple reticles. I don't remember. I think that's a 512. Okay, that's where it starts. And there was a time when that thing ran flawless, and it's got an SB3 or an SB4 brace on it. There's a time when that thing ran great, and then I just had a misfeed with it at the range a couple of weeks ago, so that goes back into, needs to get gone through. It needs a huge cleaning. It's filthy. And then we'll start working with it again to see if we can get the reliability back up. That is in fact a Holosun. I believe that's a 512C or T. That's the enclosed emitter, and it's a nice big window. So that's it, like an indoor gun basically. That's a home defense weapon. And so the optic I put on it has just like the biggest screen, the biggest eyepiece of all the stuff of all the red dots I have, so that it's easy to get in that glass and find a dot real quick. So that's like a bump in the night gun. And then as we come around clockwise to the bottom number 5 position, that is a 11.5-inch AR-15 pistol with a Dead Air Sandman S30 caliber can and a Vortex Strike Fire 1-8 LPVO and an SB4 SB Tactical SB4 brace, I don't know, and probably a what is that? A B5 pistol grip, and it's got a, let's see, a Holosun Valkyrie light on it. There's a Valkyrie light somewhere for the other AR9 also, and who knows, there might be one on the end of the, there might not be one on the end of the 16 inch. That 16 inch needs a little more love. It's got a, which looks sweet. Haven't seen that optic by them yet. That's an old one. I think it's already closed out. I think I got it in clearance. I got that one what, a year or two ago. Yeah, so I haven't really been running that. So that 16 inch upper in the top middle. So I kind of, we skipped the one on the right. That 16 inch Foxtrot mic upper actually goes with the skeletonized Foxtrot mic lower. That's under the what do you call it, the 11.5 inch gun, and I just didn't feel like, but it had the 11.5 inch upper on it, so I didn't need to swap anything out to put that one on the table. So I didn't want to swap it out. I just have the two guns have the mismatched lowers, I guess is how I put that. The lower to the 16 inch is that the lower that's on the 10.5 inch, and the lower that's on the 16 inch is a different lower. I don't know what to say. So, Chanson, let's go. Sorry, but I had to take the dog, but that's cool. Family first. Moto's real cute. What a beautiful table of weapons. Thank you, Chanson. So, and then on the far left, we have the BCA bolt gun. That's a Bear Creek Arsenal. I think it's a 22 inch, I don't freaking know. 6.5 Grendel with a Luth AR precision rifle stock and an Anarchy Outdoors precision rifle pistol grip and an Arca Rail adapter and the Arkin 6-24, probably the SHJ 6-20 Gen 2 6-24, and that is the heavy scope, and it's fine for a target rifle. And I consider you could hunt with that bolt action, but I got the same caliber in a like 18 inch gas gun that I would more readily hunt with if I was going to hunt with it. But 6.5 Grendel is a legitimate deer hunting cartridge, but I have 6.5 Creedmoor, which is going to run probably 300 to 400 feet per second faster out of the same length barrel with a lighter bolt action frame. So so for me, 6.5 Creed is the winner, and I built the 6.5 Creed for hunting, so it makes sense to use it. But if the AR was as light as the bolt gun and had the same barrel length, then it would be a toss-up. But 6.5 Grendel is a few hundred feet per second slower than 6.5 Creed just because of the case capacity. Same bullet, same exact bullet, just a different case, or potentially same bullet depending on what you get. I think the 6.5 Grendel is mostly like 123 grain, and the 6.5 Creed's like 129 to 140 or 147. So all of that. So that's a nice pistol grip on that one. So I would say it's a cool pistol grip. There's a thumb shelf on it, so you can hold your thumb on the same side as your fingers, which are curved around. It's supposed to give you a better wrist position. I don't even know, more control, blah blah blah. But it kind of fucks up it's not a CQB grip. It's kind of it changes the feel of the rifle, and it changes the whole vibe of the gun, but also the way you use it. it would be almost impossible to reach ambi safety, and you'd have to, if you had an ambi safety, it would have to be a 45-degree throw and a shortened little nub of a selector on that side, and so it has room to clear the hand grip, and you ain't going to be able to reach it anyway because of that big old block that sits in front of it. So it's just different. But it's a very cool pistol grip, and that's why I bought it. And Yeah, I bought it for an MDT. I just ended up putting it on that one. So going back around, at the top is a 16-inch AR. Basically, that's like my battle lower, and the 16-inch Foxtrot mic is kind of a battle upper. Although, as I was trying to say, the Foxtrot mic lower is under the 11.5 suppressed, and that's just the other. That's a PSA lower under the Foxtrot mic upper, and then on the right, that's a 5-inch suppressed AR9 Foxtrot mic AR9 pistol, or at least that. And I have an 8-inch AR9 upper that goes with it, but that's not plugged into the gun, and I built that upper myself. And it's I think that's an Arrow upper receiver with Lord knows whose barrel, probably Roscoe. Pretty sure it's a Roscoe barrel, and a Breek handguard, and the JK Armaments 155 9mm can that zips between a whole bunch of different guns because it just screws on and off real easy. And then that is a Holosun 512T, if I'm not mistaken. That's an enclosed emitter. So thank you. I mean, the goal was to showcase the different the modularity and the different potential roles for these guns, where the 5-inch AR9 is like a bump in the night gun, and the 10.5-inch or 11.5-inch AR-15 suppressed is like a CQB gun, basically, or a battle gun. You know, you could there isn't anything you can't do with that gun. You know, it may not be as hot out to 600 rounds, but it's probably going to get 600 yards, but it's probably going to get most of that way. And I can't shoot it that far with a 1-to-8 LPVO on the top. And the 16-inch above it is just a straight up, you know, simple kind of straightforward 16-inch AR 1-to-8 Vortex Strike Fire LPVO or Strike Eagle LPVO. So just and then the gun on the right is a kind of a deer hunting, just long distance target gun. So I probably could have got on an hour earlier, but I wanted to get Chanson's care package together while I was thinking about it, because I'd already spaced it out like 2 nights in a row. So Chanson, you're obligated to post a lot of replies. A lot of comments. Obligated to post a lot of comments. See, is there anybody else chatting in here? Oh, shit. Okay, Brian, I'm coming to visit you tomorrow. I'm flying into San Luis Obispo tomorrow. San Luis. Well, we got 6 watching, like 5 discrete people. I think one of them is me because of the way I watch this thing. Let's see, we got Made in Mexico, sharing the Mexico. Heco in Mexico, amigo. Scrolling back up there. I didn't see that. I did not see that comment get slipped in there. Let's see. Oh, Cali is not the place to visit. Oh, sure. No, it's beautiful. California's beautiful. It's got the sweetest damn climate of anywhere. Of course, I won't be bringing any guns because I'm flying in, but that's just how it is. I won't need any guns because, well, knock on wood. Why are you saying it's not a place to visit? Just from a 2A standpoint? Or, I mean, San Luis Obispo is pretty chill. I think we're staying in Pismo. We've got a spot on the cliff over the ocean on the north end of Pismo. I think you said you're from there. Is that right? I don't mean to mislabel you, mislocate you. Janice asked, "What can is it?" That on the far right. That is a JK Armaments 155 Versa X. Those things are about 5 cheeseburger, and they work amazing. It's a 9 millimeter can with an HUB hub mount, which is super versatile, and I've got that mount on a whole bunch of different um, uh, barrels, and so that thing just spins off one and spins on the next. Oh yeah, we talked about that. You're in Riverside. Um, Maybe it was you. Somebody's in San Bernardino. Um, yeah, super convenient can. It screws onto everything from 9 millimeter to 308 to it's rated for 300 Win Mag. So basically anything um, smaller than 357 or smaller, that thing will go on. It's pretty cool. I should have wished I had if I had a lever gun with 357 lever with a threaded barrel. That'd be cool for that to run that thing. But Kenny has a similar can. Sorry. Kenny has a different model, and like he's got the RCX or some shit like that. Basically the same, some very very similar can to that one. Um, that was it's a real lightweight can. It's either got a stainless steel or a titanium first baffle to protect it from baffle strikes, and then everything else is aluminum, so it's real lightweight. And then the dead air can on the 11.5 inch is a fucking slug. That thing's like super heavy and solid, but feels very confidence inspiring can. That's perfect for like 300 black. If I had a bunch more lowers and a bunch more table, that would have been the rifle to put out here, or the pistol to put out here. Would have been the 8-inch 300 black with the can to kind of because I think I had that 10.5 on or the 11.5 on the table last night. Oh, I love Temecula. Not far from this right now. I used to uh, I used to live in Ocean Beach, San Diego, and for some reason I just always had a appreciation for Temecula. Sort of. It's just got a really cool vibe. Now I've never lived there, so I don't know. But to me, driving into it, like whatever that road is with the cool bridge. I think it's south of Temecula, and it's like it goes out that way and towards Ramona, and it's just real picturesque. Julian, it's over by Julian, and it's real picturesque down there. And you roll into Temecula, and Temecula's kind of, as I remember, and this was like 30 years ago. I lived there in like '96, and man, life flies by. Um, it's just got that wide open horse country vibe. It's just, and I know nothing about Temecula other than like driving into it from the south a couple of times. But yeah, I remember it as being really lovely 30 years ago. And I liked that. By Ramona, I had a girlfriend out in Ramona, and it was real nice. Oh, shit. I'm actually Native American from the Pala Indian Reservation. I don't know if you know Pala Casino. That's where I'm from. I don't know Pala, and I guess what you're saying is that's a local tribe. Pala? Yeah, Pala. That sounds like that's a local California tribe, and I'm not familiar with that. My wife is, I think, what is it? Let's see. About her one of her grandfathers is Cherokee Lenape. That side of the family's from the Midwest, and she's a um, red hair, freckle faced white girl that used to go to the powwows, and she beads and weaves and tans tans deer hides and makes moccasins um, and traditional dresses, and so that you know kind of like when she go like she's got stories, but like people like, oh, here's a little white girl and she's just got she plays the Native American flutes, the wood flutes, and she's been honored by her elders for her flute playing and stuff like that. So um, it's pretty cool. And I'm not Native. I'm just very proud of her. It's off the 76 freeway. I don't. It's just been so long since I was down there. I moved out of San Diego in '96. I lived in Santa Cruz for like 15 years, and so I was up to Santa Cruz a lot. But I got divorced and moved um, to Ocean Beach, San Diego, and when I was like 32, and just had a blast down there. And then after about a year and a half, my ex-wife said, "Nah, fuck you. You ain't divorced anymore. Get your ass back up here. You're gonna give me a baby." And I was like, "Okay." She was very convincing at the time, and I have a wonderful daughter who I'm now going to visit in San Luis tomorrow, who's 25. So you were, and actually, so thank you for sharing that about your native heritage, because you had mentioned earlier that you had a grandma who was very dark skinned, and you passed her off as black. You talked, or maybe you or other people in the family said she was black, and um, you know, uh, 50, 70 years, now I don't know this firsthand, but I know this from my wife. 50, 70 years ago, there was so much discrimination against Native Americans in this country, and for hundreds of years, that they would have rather listed their or told people that they were Mexican or black, because black people were higher on the social economic scale than Native Americans. So they would tell people their family members were African American, or they would claim being Native Mexican or black, um, to get less discrimination than they were getting as Native American people. And um, you can talk about that. You can. This is what my wife had told me. So I'm not trying to tell you shit that you probably already know, but I'm just creating an opening if you want to, type about that or talk about that here in the live. Now, in our generation, it's not nearly as much of a thing, but like in the 50s and 60s and 70s, um, or even in the 30s and 40s, 1930s and 40s, um, natives would try to pass off as Mexican or black, because they received less discrimination that way. As I'm told by my wife, I'm not trying to tell you your history. I'm sharing what I know to create an opening for you, if you want to talk about it or not. What you did mention about your grandma, and I caught that, and we were in a different live, and I didn't want to comment on it there. But since we're here talking about it, or since we're here and you brought it up, I thought it was a good opportunity to talk about it. And to not let it, I had wanted to mention it then, but because you might, I don't know why that fucks with people, but anyhow. I go by Native American. I'm also mixed with white Mexican, but I go by Native. That's what pays me, and that's what's on my ID. When you say that's what pays me, you mean you get some benefits. You get some benefits from your tribe, maybe tribal health care or something like that. Or how do they, when you say that's what pays you? Or you work for the tribe? Maybe. I don't know. I'm just curious what you meant by that. That's wild. I never knew that. Fahim Fletcher said hi. Hey, Fahim. Welcome. Sh- Shalom Alaikum, brother. Welcome in. Compliant Armor. Yes, we have a casino. Do you work for the casino or some? I know I'm feeling like you're security at the casino. Something. No, you work in the money. You work in the cage with all the money. Um, what the fuck? I'm sorry, bro. I ain't got no AKs. If I had an AK, I'd have to have a camel to shoot the AK off the back of. And since I don't have any camels, I don't have any AKs. Now I get per cap. I don't know what that is, but it sounds like some kind of benefit. My chance of my buddies like that he gets money from the casino and his tribe. Yeah, well, fuck yeah. I mean, if they're any benefit is better than no benefit. We got a couple of casinos and tribes right here on the south end, like the Muckleshoot Casino and um, Combined Army. We get a cut every member of the tribe on shares, so we all get 10K a month. What the motherfucking hell? Fuck yeah, brother. Oh my god, that's amazing. 10K a month. Well, fuck. Oh my god, that is just fabulous. You do a lot with 10K a month as a base pay. Fuck yeah, I had no idea. Yeah, you're right. That's what pays you. It pays you fucking good, bro. No work needed, just blood degree. Fuck yeah, and but you also get health care. Same with my buddy, he gets more. LOL, he bought like 2 houses and a Nissan GTR. Fuck yeah, well, shit. Glad y'all are finally getting something. We can work and get more. That's fucking awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. That's so powerful. And free schooling. Fuck yeah. That's such a like. See, I never knew that. That's such a better opportunity for you um, than all the fucking bullshit that you hear. And plus, and you get to be in Temecula. All you don't get is access to good guns in California. But shit, you could go get a little place with your 10K. You'd have a place in California, and have a little place in Vegas with a big vaulty locking vault gun room, and just store your fire, store your ordnance, a few hours away. I'm actually looking at that, doing that, getting a place in Vegas so we can store all the guns that'll probably be totally illegal in California, in Washington in the not too distant future. Every time going to the casino gets a cut. Some get 50K a month. Could you imagine? And without having to work or do anything else, that's a fucking unbelievable opportunity. And then, dear God, can you imagine getting 50 grand a month for um, and you don't have to do anything. You just do whatever you want. You could be like, you could have your chance. You do a lot more than that. I don't even want to talk about what Kenny would do. That's a um, chance to just find you a native woman. Yeah, well, fuck yeah. I did, but she's not on the roll. She's not um, actively a tribal member. So we're, acknowledged. Um, so she gets dividends, but it ain't from the tribe. It's from the tribe, just not that tribe. It's not her tribe. It's from my tribe. So why you got any sisters? Chanson's down. Our tribe gifts us homes as well, nice ones too, but you have to be on the list. Takes a while, but worth it. Oh my God, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm so happy for you, man. You know, it just makes your life so. 10 grand a month. Now it's not all roses because then you know there's other things in life that don't change that are still hard. But you get a home, possibly. You get 10 grand a month, which is I'm also exempt from taxes. Bro, this is so great. Jeez, that's so awesome. So you get 10 grand a month, tax free. So that's really 10 grand a month, and you and schooling for your kids, and health care. You didn't say health care, but I'm assuming you get health care from the tribe. And oh, dude, that's and you don't have to be and if you don't want to be in California, and Temecula like is like it may not be it may be limited on, it might have limitations for a gun guy, but shoot, you're what, 3-4 hours from Vegas, like, and I say Vegas, but we were looking at like a winter home or a retirement home, and somewhere between uh, like in the Laughlin, Bullhead City area, so you can keep your guns there. I don't pay sales tax on anything like cars. Now I get taxed like $500 for my tent. I don't know what that is, but I'd write that check with a smile. Natives now are living the dream. It's payback for all the fuck shit it, we did. But yeah, exactly. For all the fucking for 200 years of bullshit, now you got a decent deal. So I'm happy. I'm honestly very happy for you. My heart is happy. I go to Havasu and get goodies sometimes. Right on. Well, so tell me, because I haven't been to Havasu. We just picked it out on a map. We were looking at like little houses like in Parker or Havasu City, just because we like boating, and we figure we'd be able to boat on the river, for a longer season. But do you like it down there? When you say goodies, I hope we're talking about like the kind of goodies that are on this table, not party favors. Well, yeah, talk to me, type to me. Oh, do you think Havasu's a good? Right on. So I was looking at like what is it, Havasu City, or I think Park. We were kind of looking at Parker, um, Parker Strip, Parker. There's like the little houses out there. We're also looking um, out in the like little mining towns outside of Vegas. Vegas was interesting, or Nevada's interesting because there's no personal income tax there. I don't know if it would matter for me because my primary residence would be in Washington still, but but like there's like some little places you get some acreage, you get some dusty sandy acreage, but like I was looking at little houses on like 10 acres backed up to rocks, like you could maybe shoot a mile from your back porch. Yeah, that's, I think they call that the Colorado River. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I'm just being a dick. But yeah, yeah. So it's all kind of lined up. You got Laughlin, Nevada, across the river from Bullhead City, and and then it runs down to Havasu City and Parker, and so it's all in there. And then and you can go as high like up at Boulder City, just south and east of Vegas, is more on Lake Mead, so you can't really boat between the two because there's a dam. But if you get it, and I don't know how much of it's boatable um, between Lake between Hoover Dam and like at some point it becomes like I don't know if it's not like it's a river and then eventually whatever. I don't know. I haven't seen it. You know better than I do. I haven't seen it. I've just seen it on a map. Yeah, if you like boats, guns, and off road, have a shoes in place. Well, shit. I got I got 3 I got three pickups, or what, two Suburbans, a Suburban and Escalade, and now I got the big um, Duramax 1 ton, and I got three boats. But like I don't want to sound like I'm rich. Most of my stuff's pretty junky. My Suburban and my Escalade are O2s. The 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 K3500's the nicest thing I've bought in 20 years. Um, but my boats are not expensive either. And shit, I have a few guns, but you know, if I had a place in Arizona with a big old like um, gun room, like vaulted room, there could be a lot more guns. Not that I don't feel like I need a lot more guns, because I got a lot of options available uh, already. But I just don't. I just think Washington's kind of fucked up, and I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, unless the Supreme Court steps in and really puts its foot down about these AR bans and magazine bans. I think that the states like California and Washington are emboldened to just make more and more restrictive gun laws. And I don't think the Supreme Court really has the flavor for it. They just passed Bruin like 2 years ago, and they don't want to fucking do it every year. They just need a really solid. And as soon as they put out Ruby, 9 days after Bruin, the New York State uh, legislation was thumbing their nose at them and coming up with more restrictive laws than the ones that Bruin sought to do away with. So I just don't think they have a flavor for it, and they're really also much more involved with reshaping society along their federalist plan and empowering Trump and supporting Trump like every turn. I don't know what the number is now, but shit, like 3-4 months. By early summer they were up to 16 out of 17 decisions to support Trump in his agenda. So they're basically reshaping society on a much grander scale, and they don't have the taste to dive into assault weapon bans and magazine bans. But that's what it's going to take. If anything, that's what it's going to take to straighten fucking California and Washington out. But nothing's going to straighten them out. They're hell bent on civilian disarmament. But I was thinking, we could, if we, well, we might be a couple of years away from doing it, but I could maybe even just get a storage garage and bring one of the boats down and put it in storage, and then we could just do Airbnbs or drive down and stay at different places till we figure out a place to buy or buy a place and put it into an Airbnb program in like Bullhead City or Parker, and then just go out and get the boat and come down and get the boat. Agreed. Washington's going to spiral more downhill, not by accident, but it's just all the voters are in the I-5 corridor, and they're all liberal, or not even liberal. They're fucking leftist, dumb, fuckheads that just want to see. Here we go. So, and this is not going to be the big rant, but basically, and without getting too far into the off the topic, in my opinion. You got the First Amendment and the Second Amendment, and that's like the backbone of the Constitution. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and the ability to physically back it up. And then after that, it just starts getting kind of smaller, like the third and fourth amendments. Fourth Amendment is freedom from unreasonable search and seizure. I forget what the fuck the Third Amendment is. Can anybody here tell us? But yeah, the first. So you got the lefties supporting the First Amendment and fighting the Second Amendment. That's just a fucking bunch of bullshit. This is the U.S. Constitution. This is the backbone of what makes us a unique country. And anyone who's an American should be 100% supporting the Constitution and not weakening it. And the Second Amendment is freedom from tyranny. Is the right to protect yourself against a tyrannical government, which is exactly what the Newsom and Inslee, what the fuck's his name, Bob Ferguson. That's what they're all about. These are tyrannical governments. So of course they want to disarm you. Not they necessarily want to put you in a boxcar, but the next guy might. J.D. Vance jacks off thinking about that shit. Anyhow, sorry. Agree Washington's going to spiral more downhill. I drive out in my Raptor and bring my guns and rent a boat out every summer. That's fucking awesome. So is it warm enough to boat in the wintertime, or it gets cold because it's the west? Oh my god, pop my cigar. Well, let's see what you. Okay. I need to watch more William Kirk videos. Been a couple of weeks now. I'm out of the loop on some stuff. Well, Chanson, it is the responsibility of every law-abiding citizen to know your rights and how they apply to you in each and every situation. Yeah, a lot of people keep their boats in storage out there. Maybe the right place to buy a storage facility, air conditioned. Well, I got a cool little go fast boat that for some reason I think would fit on the. I got buddies that are down there with fucking big old canopied cats with monster engines, and I know they have the poker runs and the shootouts down there, the powerboat shootouts. But I have like a 21-foot checkmate with a 300 Yamaha on the back. It's not super fast, maybe like a 70-mile-an-hour boat. And if it ever gets fucking fixed, because that shit's been rolling, like I'm waiting for a lower unit for months and months, and it's finally supposed to be. They finally figured out what the right one is because it's all custom, and suppose we found the guy that built it in the first place, and he's doing a lower unit. But if that one ever comes through and runs good, the whole thing's been gone. The upper end's been gone through, waiting to get the lower on it so I can fire it, and then that could be a good candidate for keeping down by the river. Or the thing that slightly irks me is that pontoon boats used to be cheap as fucking shit, and now they start at 50 and go up to $200,000 for a floating dock. But pontoon boats used to be the cheapest fucking thing. That's why they were invented. But it seems like a pontoon boat would be, full-on party barge would be perfect for the river. So anyway, there's that. So I'm gonna float something. So I've been really quiet about the whole Charlie Kirk thing, and yeah, they're pricey. That's what I read. Yeah, man, they're so fun because you bring everybody out and the whole thing. But I've been real quiet about the Charlie Kirk thing. But but mostly staying on the sideline and letting Kenny rant about it and all that stuff. But the thing that I don't, while they're fighting about, or while they're talking about all the alternative theories on how he got shot and the way the bullet entered possibly from behind his ear and was exiting his neck, well, and that it was a different guy on a balcony with an AR. The thing that goes with that's really shocking is now what they're talking about is a conspiracy with multiple shooters and the FBI and an FBI cover up. And who the fuck was doing that to Charlie Kirk and why? What was the motivation to have multiple shooters out there that day? And it's like a whole on JFK thing. Like, what the fuck was that all about? Is what I want to know. Anyhow, that's also. I was going to mention that on Kenny's thing today, but we didn't. I haven't heard what the theories are behind that. And the reason I bring it up now is because you wrote William Kirk and I misread it in my mind. I saw Charlie Kirk and it reminded me I just it seems like if you got other shooters and it wasn't that kid, then, well, what the fuck happened and why? Because that's a big motherfucking deal at that point. Why the hell were they trying to execute the guy? Because there was multiple people, then it wasn't just one lone shooter with a trans agenda. He's like the fall guy, but they were setting it up to create civil unrest and class warfare or culture war or whatever. But um, I haven't heard a whole lot about that side of it, but it seems pretty motherfucking diabolical in the proper sense and use of the word. Okay, anyhow. Well, Kevin, I'm so glad that we're having this conversation about Lake Havasu. And so when you're out there, let me ask you this if you're still there. When you're out there, um, where do you go shoot? Do you just drive out in the desert in any direction, or are there places that are well known that people go shooting? Like out here, you can drive out in the forest, and there's certain areas that will have a bunch of different pits, um, like a hillside, and every clearing is another shooting area up against the hillside, and because you don't want to be crowded, but you don't want to be, you know, out in the open either. I don't know. I think it's got to do something with his wife. I bet she will now start doing political stuff and possibly become first woman president in retaliation for her husband's death. I don't know, just a theory I've had. Oh, it's an interesting angle. She was a beauty pageant girl, and Trump knows her from when she was underage or some shit. Um, yeah, in the desert, I buy some tannerite and just off road. So you just go out wherever the fuck you want and blow shit up. Is basically what you're saying. Which sounds which sounds awesome. So, but then, um, like the guns you can get in Arizona are probably are way better than the guns you can get in California. But it's people like rent a storage locker and keep all their shit out there or half their shit out there, and they go and rent a Airbnb, and they you know rent a boat, and they go to the locker and break out their break out all their fun guns. Shit, it kills me that because in Washington, you can't buy anything anymore. I don't have to. Like everybody's like, oh, I just got this Zastava. I'm dying to get into Zastava. And, like here, like the only thing I could get is these Bear Creek Arsenal bolt guns that have mil spec AR lowers. And if you pop the pins, you have done a bad thing. But you can run them with any upper you want, not legally, but they would function that way. I bought them as dedicated bolt guns just so I don't have to keep pulling buffer springs in and out of my out of the buffer tube every time because like was running the bolt upper on these semi-auto lowers, and I just bought the actual this round of bolt guns as dedicated bolt guns, so I don't have to keep switching shit out because the buffer springs are always filthy and shit. I take mine, run a comp mag, easy to pop out, and I buy standards. Right on. Um, yeah, and then facts, chance of facts, we're so out of the loop with the rifles right now. It's crazy. All the bros buying sick ARs and sick AKs. So, if I had access to whatever the fuck I wanted, I'd be like buying a FAL or a G3. Not the one rifle that I got that is super fucking sick, and I bought it like a few months ago, is I got that 1944 Winchester M1 carbine, and it is bad to the bone. And I mean, it's like straight up U.S. military history, and weighs like 5 pounds, and it's just fucking nimble and light and wields fucking death. It's just insane how great that gun is. But because it's a 44 Winchester, I don't want to shoot it that much, but I could see getting something a little later or something, a little, less, less historic, but not like whatever those fucking replicas were. And the difference between a safe queen, or like a trailer queen and a driver in hot rods speak. And just getting like a driver just to beat the shit out of, because it's such a fun gun to shoot. But yeah, I mean, in other states you get FALs, you can get full auto FALs, Galils, you get all the fucking fun shit, Uzis, um, and besides having other sick ARs and AKs and all that stuff. Um, I rented there's a range I go to down here that's got a full auto um, AR, and it's like $60 to rent the gun and $30 per mag. And I just like walked in with a Hyundai and got the gun and 2 magazines, and that was like the most fun 5 minutes I've had in years. And I'd never shot full auto before, and that was just a kick in the pants. I posted the video of it, but it got no views, and I pulled it and to post another day when my channel's a little stronger and it might get some views. J Dog Pimp Daddy C type she. Well, I'm here like, well, fuck this state. Well, I have a business here, so I ain't going anywhere. But if we get the business to the next level, which is, hire some more people so they're here day to day, and I don't have to be here day to day, and I can, be somewhere warmer and drier in the wintertime, we're 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, or some shit like that. My kid's getting married, and she's talking about having a family, so we're going to want to be down there more, but we don't want to buy a place in California, but like Vegas is like a 6-hour drive, which isn't really that far, so we could spend a couple of weeks a month down in Vegas and then shoot over there a couple of days a week, that kind of thing. That's sort of the plan we're working on, but I don't plan on fully leaving Washington. I actually kind of love Washington, except for the fucking gun laws. I'm tired of paying double price for off-roster handguns. Yeah, so how's that work? What I understand is you can't buy the guns there, but you can bring them in. So, like, for me, if I want to bring a Glock 48 with me into the state for my protection, I can do that. I just can't buy it there, but you can bring it there. I don't know if whatever. I don't fucking know how that shit works. J Dog Pimp Daddy C type she. What is up, my brother? You can't buy new, you can't buy used. Right on. Well, you have to. Well, how do you sell used? You have to sell it at a gun store. You got an arms list, and you got to transfer it at a gun store. So I'd really like to fucking get rid of my Canik MC9. That thing is a dog. I'm fucking heated. It's supposed to be payday, and I got nothing. So now I have to talk to boss tomorrow and see if it's going on. But about to crash all the way out. Well, good for you, man. You've been working hard. I hope this gets worked out and you don't get, you get, taken care of. So I hate seeing people get fucked. Yeah, gun store transfers. But is it like a private sale and you go do it at the gun store? You set it up online or something and then you go in and do the transfer? Better tell him to pay up, or Chanson will be on his way. He should pay you right there on the spot after that. Well, most of the time when I've had shit happen where people don't get paid, it's because you use like a payroll app like ADP, and they didn't get their shit in time for the thing to get all computed and shit. So then you gotta have them cut a check. Um, but I'm on my way to your neck of the woods, J Dog. Uh, Tomorrow I'm going to California for the weekend, and then next Friday I'm going to Austin for about 6-8 hours. And I don't know where you are, but I assume you're somewhere east of on the east side of the state. I'm just flying into Austin and renting a truck and picking up my dad, who's 89, and driving him back to Washington. I ain't cleaning shiz tomorrow, lol. Yeah, I feel that. Tell them you'll expose with the carpet shed. It sounds like that's uh, pointing at a previous conversation that occurred somewhere else, but it sounds funny as shit. Yes, so also, J Dog, I know you said don't ever get off for anybody else. Don't jump out of your spot. The reason I went on tonight is because I'm not going to be on all weekend. I won't be on. I'll be on midweek, but I won't be on all next weekend. But although I'm talking about doing some road trip videos, getting a mount for the car, renting buying some kind of car mount for my phone that goes on the dash, and then doing a road trip video. But through the great American West, because we're taking like Highway 82. We're going a caddy corner diagonal from Austin up to I-90, and then coming in on over the pass here. But so that's like the what West Texas, maybe a corner of Arizona. Uh, no, probably not Utah. Yeah, a little piece of Arizona, maybe Utah, and maybe not Arizona. Utah, maybe what the fuck is down there? New Mexico? I don't fucking remember. Um, and then Utah, and then Idaho. Fuck, I wish I could put together like a stop to pick some things up. Um, I need J Dog BCA. Chancellor, what is like what's the BCA part like? I mean, when you say BCA, I think of Bear Creek Armory, and I know J Dog buys the real shit. He ain't buying. He's buying LaRue. He ain't buying um, fucking BCA. Not that I know of. He buys like high end shit type shit. And he wants to go get payday so he can go buy some expensive type shit. Compliant Armory. I'm going CA. It's Compliant Armory. Also CA for California. I'm gonna go to bed. Got kids got school. Good chatting. Right on. Um, yeah, thank you for joining in, and it's always a pleasure having you in the chat, sir. Come on back, and look forward to chatting more. Appreciate you giving me the lowdown on the desert scene. Um, yeah, have a good day tomorrow. Good night, compliant. What else is going on, gentlemen? Looking over at my guns. That Foxtrot mic upper. Foxtrot mic's kind of decent mid range stuff. And if you like, you watch the Brownell bit videos. Paul from Foxtrot Mike has guest spots on and interviews with Steve and what's his name? Steve and the guy with the dark hair. I can't fucking remember his name. The guy with the weird hairdo. Um, but the gunsmith guys from Brownells, and he really shares interesting stuff about the industry and production, barrel production. He's a very innovative guy. Um, you tell he's just like total fucking tinker, dude. And he comes up with some really interesting shit because they developed their own AK uh, versions of ARs and stuff. And I learned a lot from listening to him. That was after I bought the shit, but it made me more happy with it. But Foxtrot Mike's definitely a like a um, an interesting little uh, rabbit hole to jump down and check out their stuff because they do make, or they also were big with the early with the side chargers and stuff like that. But he's got some good science and stuff. But the AR9 they build and the that rear charging AR, that's just like the shit that they pump out to pay the bills. But like that, it's a nice little kind of. I think it's like a bull barrel on the AR. Like their shit runs good, but I haven't not run that upper very much, and I really need to because it's got a really solid feel to it. Like it's a very confident gun. So I need to run that more. It's not as sexy as some of the other stuff I have built, but the reason it's black is because that's like my night fighter, just real straightforward business when if you need the business, just uh, yeah, just solid built and it runs, and I just need to shoot the shit out of it. I probably need to. It's got a it's got a Vortex LPVO on it. I probably just need to do some two gun with it just to have some fun with it. But it's always tempting to bring some fucking rattle can, painted up shit to the range for two gun. You guys still here? So if you guys want to, so J Dog, if you want to go live, I will jump off because there's, if nothing's happening here, um, you know, I'm more than happy to listen to you play guitar, brother. Um, yeah, so listen to the show. Well, listening to my show, I'm happy to spout off. I'm so funny. It's like a fucking monologue. I get the monologue for endless amounts of time. It's hysterical. Um, because even if no one was in the room, I'd probably be fucking doing this anyway. I'd just be like, oh, Bruce is monologuing to himself. That'd be some funny shit. But yeah, of all the guns, I want to like I want to shoot that Foxtrot mic up or more. Uh, it just runs really good. I just got their compensator on. It's really fucking loud. It's great. Love that shit. In two gun, nobody gives a shit how loud your gun is. It doesn't need to be quiet. Well, actually, that's not true. They do have rules about it, but I don't think anybody cares. Nobody's enforcing it. I think what they told me is they just don't want like huge fucking comps on the end of the guns that are just ridiculous. But you can run suppressed there. You can definitely run that 10.5. It's perfect for there. Or it's not a 10.5. It's an 11.5. What's your favorite gun on the table and why? Well, thank you, Chanson. I don't have, well, I would say that 11.5 with the can is probably my favorite gun on the table. And I've just been like running that configuration and I really like it. And the reason is because not that ARs shoot hard because they don't, they're pretty light on the recoil, but the can is very soft shooting and it's just motherfucking sexy is what it is. That thing is just it's light. It's even with the heavy ass can on it, it's just light and small, and It's very agile, and it's motherfucking sexy, and it's really enjoyable to shoot. And it's interesting because a can it still has recoil. It softens the recoil, and this isn't a conversation about the recoil from AR hurts, but like the recoil from an unsuppressed AR is sharp, but it's also very fast. So it doesn't really keep yeah, you get the hit, but then you're right back on target. Where the can is softer and disperses it, but it actually makes that recoil impulse last a little longer, because as the gas is finding its way around the can and stuff like that. So in my opinion, it feels a little bit slower, but we're talking about very small amounts of time. And it's just fucking sexy, and I just like shooting that fucking that 11 and a half with the can, even though it's you're shooting supersonic and the can's a 30 caliber 300 black can. Doesn't fucking matter. It's not making it hearing safe, but it cuts the sound a lot, and it sounds really good. Had to run and get a pack of Marbs. I'm back. Right on. I love that the store's right around the corner from me. That's just fucking awesome. Did you have any ice cream Sammys tonight? I went to Walmart today to pick up some meds because I had a big old fucking abscess in my tooth, and they're gonna take like 45 minutes to fill the prescription on the spot. So I went and I got some Halloween candy, and I got some clothes, and I walked around the shitty ass fucking gun counter, because the gun counter that's down in sort of like the ghetto and where that one is, and so their gun counters, like, they don't have guns there. I don't even think they have any ammo, but they got a couple of scopes and some gun cleaning kits and shit. And I was taking a good long look at the Walmart camo, and the truth, and it's like some version of Realtree, and it ain't bad. And it had long sleeve t-shirts. They had a short sleeve t-shirt, I totally would have bought it. Um, but I bought Kit Kat candy bar ice cream cones for my wife, and they're fucking delicious. If you were going to design your own firearm from scratch, what features would you include and why? Well, Chanson, um, so it's sitting there, like I would say it's probably somewhere between the 10 and a half and the 16. And it's not that it takes, so I've done all kinds of shit with these guns, and that for the ARs, and I've had a lot of time to experiment with them. And because I fuck with different calibers, um, and making them run different. Oh, the other thing about that 11 and a half, you can probably see it from the angle it's on, but you probably can't see it because of the lighting. And the that 10 and a half runs bootleg adjustable BCG, so the gas isn't controlled by an adjustable gas block. It's controlled by a valve uh, in the uh, um, in the BCG. You got, like, it's a 4-position gas block of sorts. Gas block, call it gas block, but it's the bolt carrier group has a vent in it, so the gas vents out of the bolt, and it's got straight 3 o'clock ejection. I found that straight carbine buffers, buffer springs, and buffer weights, which is what I'm sending you, by the way, runs everything, every fucking caliber, every barrel length. It doesn't care. It just fucking runs, and it's switching from upper to upper. It doesn't fucking matter. You don't have to dial anything in it, because you get fucking, when you start switching calibers and switching barrel lengths and gas tube lengths, it you could dial it for each gun, but the buffer system, the carbine buffer, just doesn't give a shit. So there's that. And then I like that 11 and a half barrel. I looked at the numbers, and you lose a lot more velocity with 10 and a half than 11 and a half. 11 and a half preserves your velocity, if I remember, and I'm sure I'm fucking wrong and don't remember. You're somewhere up at about 2,800 feet per second with an 11 and a half or a 12. Pretty sure that's an 11 and a half. And the can's really nice. I would get like a dedicated 5.56 can, because somebody passed me one at the range, wanted an indoor range one time with a dedicated 5.56 can. and it was as quiet as my 300 black. So there's that. But and then for accessories, you may have guessed, I really on AR fighting rifles, CQB, or battle rifle style. I like LPVOs, 1 to 8 or 1 to 10, and and then just the standard, um, wisdom is a sling, an optic, a sling, and a light, and that's all you need. So I run those Olight Valkyries without pressure switches. They have like where most of the time you got a pistol light, you push the button downward, which wouldn't work on a rifle because there's no way to do it. But the Olight buttons you push in. So when I C-clamp that rifle at the end, I just hit my index finger up and it pops the button on the side of the light and switches on. So it's just like having a pressure pad, but there's nothing in the way of your hand. You just pump you turn the light on and off with your fingertip, and the rest of your hand stuff, whatever. It's just simple and it fucking works. And I have even though some of those hand guards have like a QD hole to put your sling in. I think one time I had a sling pop out of the hole, and it didn't work right, and it was dog shit. So I always put those little front sling mounts on, even if they have the QD hole in the handguard. I still mount the little M-Lock QD thing for the sling, and that's the whole thing. And I tend to like. I've been leaning way. So if you look on the bottom left on the Luth AR buttstock, the precision rifle buttstock that's on the bolt action, I have 3 of those. Well, so on the AR pistol, I have the pistol brace, but those things don't have the extension that rifle buttstocks have, and so hold on, just a little more to this rant, a little more to this monologue. I really don't like the pistol braces. It's not because they're uncomfortable, because I don't give a shit about that. They're not really uncomfortable, especially not in that style, and they're strong enough where they don't compress and they don't dig in, but they don't extend, and so there's some legislation floating around, and there's some court cases trying to invalidate the NFA. And what my hope is, and I don't even remember if this is a thing or not, I think I've heard it both ways. It wasn't just the $200 tax stamp for the suppressors, but it might also apply to SBRs, and I don't remember, and I could be wrong. But what I really like to see, and see, I don't have a problem with the $200 tax stamp. I couldn't give a shit about that. But I really wanted the suppressors to come out of the NFA altogether, so that you didn't have to do the added paperwork and register the thing. So my hope is, and I could just be fucking smoking crack here, but that SBRs will come out of the NFA also, and I can just stick whatever fucking brace I want on that thing. So I would really like to put a normal rifle buttstock on it, and I don't want to register it as an SBR. So up on the 16-inch, I have like what do they call that? A Battle Link MFT or something like that, or a Mission First Tactical Battle Link buttstock. And I really like that because it was very minimal and it looks cool and all that shit when I first got it. But now I think I have a bunch of just the basic Magpul CTR type buttstocks, and they work really good. But since I got more into precision shooting, I moved over to all of these PRS, Luth AR PRS type shit, like the bottom left corner buttstocks. And the thing I like about them, if you see that long flat piece on the very bottom of it, that's a bag rider. So if you're going to shoot prone, or you're going to shoot, off a bench, or because like a 16-inch AR is good for 600 yards, and I would venture to say a 12-inch AR may not do six, but it probably does four or five pretty well. But I ain't shooting 500 yards, standing. Um, but I might need to throw it on a pack and have a rear bag or something like that. But it just gives you the versatility for, if you put a bipod and a rear bag on it, you can shoot some real distance too. So that's sort of where that turns for me, but probably just more like a Magpul CTR stock, just a more of a triangle stock, because you could still get a rear bag underneath it, even though it's got a steep angle. It's not as good as the flat bag rider on the PRS stock, but it's workable. So that's the whole thing, just basic, simple shit. And if I wasn't doing the 10.5 suppressed, it'd just be a straight 16-inch, um, you know, just 16-inch sling, optic, LPVO like that 1-8. I have another one with the primary arms 1-10 that I really like, and because I can reach out a bit with a 1-10. Um, but yeah, just I like the straight hand grip, I'm sending you Chance. I'm sending you a better hand grip, like the BCA stock hand grip, which is a better angle than the pistol grip, than the stock A2 MOE pistol grip that you have. So the pistol grip that's coming with the package uh, is um, is a little better angle, as well as that nice rubbery material. And but I like the more straighter hand grips, like the one that's on the pistol right now. I think that is not a shorty. That's got the. I should fucking change that. Um, I don't fucking know. But I have shorter ones that make it even a little bit more. That's a fatty on that pistol. But I think if you look up at the 9 mil, it's got a little lower profile and more vertical hand grip. I like those. And I might have sent you something like that. Or actually, I probably would have sent you something like what's on the 10.5 over here. But I sent you the rubbery one. So because I think you said you like that in black. So it doesn't have as much. It doesn't have as steep an angle as I like, but but it's got the rubbery hand grip. So that's my whole spiel. So basically, the short version, God forbid, is simple. Is keep it simple. 16-inch uh, optic light sling. That's it. Or 10.5 with a can. What's a nice shooter? Relighting my cigar because it keeps going out. So I'm blabbing so much. Now I'll share a little bit about LPV. I'll say a little bit about LPVOs because I really like LPVOs. Um, Part of it's that I'm just, I can't see shit. And so with the red dot, I can hit center mass at 50 yards. I could probably hit center mass at 100 yards, but I ain't grouping um, anything, but I could shoot it. Um, and I can hit it, but it's not going to be a crisp shot. It ain't like I'm going to do a heart shot or a high spine shot on a deer at 100 yards with a red dot. Um, but with an LPVO, uh, I wouldn't hunt with an LP. Well, actually, I have a 1-6 on my 300 blackout 16-inch, um, and I hunted with it last year, but that was in heavy timber, And oh my god, I gotta put that video up because it's really fucking nice, really nice video. I'll try to remember to do that tonight. But from sitting in the in my mini blind with a 300 blackout AR as the kind of right after 20 30 minutes after dawn. Um, it's just it's just a beautiful little alder stand, and we were hunting in timber, and it was really nice. But anyway, um, I really like LPVOs because basically um, they, you're dealing with height over bore, right? Close in, you're, say at point blank distance, your bullet's going to travel somewhere between the center line of the bore and the center of the optic, because the optic's 0 to 100 is the height of the arc of the bullet's travel throughout its, like 100-yard 0 on an AR. That 100 yards is pretty much the highest it's going to run, and so um, the whole bullet travel until it starts dropping is going to be between the height of the bore and um, the the crosshair of your optic. Um, so basically, anything between 0 and 100 yards is going to be within that three roughly 3.5 inch arc. And so inside of 100, it doesn't fucking matter, because if you shoot somebody, if you put the crosshairs on their forehead, you'll hit them in the fucking nostrils or something like that. It'd be right in their fucking mouth, or whatever, right? So, but you can still, shoot LPVO out to 300-400 yards if you can see that far. I can't, but it's just really effective. But even on CQB, you just put a piggyback on it, and it's basically the same height as that high riser, but you zero it in at 25 or whatever. So you just put a piggyback mount on some scope mounts have what they call a diving board, which is the front. There's like a Picatinny that extends off the front scope ring, or you have these little like scope ring type things with an RMR mount that you can put an RMR red dot on the in front of the turrets on the LPVO, and then you got a close in CQB setup, as well as distance out, so you can run the thing out to 100 yards if you want to. What you are dealing with a lot of height over bore at that point. You could also run a 45 degree off the base of the optic. They have those also, and then you just tilt the rifle and you've got your red dot. I think most most of the Navy SEAL type videos I've seen on gun setup, they tend to favor the piggyback, even though it's got more of a height over bore issue, rather than rotating, because all you do is you come out of the optic and pick your head up just a little bit, and you've got better peripheral vision, and you're looking through the red dot. So it's just a matter of moving your face up a 1/2 inch or down a 1/2 inch. So you got a ton of versatility with an LPVO, and you got magnified for precision shooting or more precise shots out to a couple 100 yards easy. And I think it's just a great optic tool for an AR, rather than just a simple red dot. I just don't like it's fine on the 9mm, because 9mm shoots flat from 10 to 50 yards, so with like almost no drop. So you're really good with a red dot on a 9mm AR, but I think the LPVO for me makes AR much more functional. So I have a red dot on the 9mm, and I have a red dot on the 300 on my 8-inch 300 black, but and like the same thing basically, but the open version, the 5 was it a 508C or a 509C or a 510C, and then that's the 512C or T. I don't fucking know anymore. Let's find out. So I'm just going to Google this real quick. So the 510C is the open emitter, and I have that on the 300 blackout. And then, so where's the 512? Fuck me. And there might not be a 512. How about a 508? Yeah, that's what it is. No, there's not. So I got a 510. I got a 5. How about a 509 T? And 509 is basically the same thing as a Romeo 5. Oh shit! So I don't know what that fucking thing is. That's on that 9mm right there. Here, the 510 optics differ primarily designed to build user preference. 510 offering an open frame design, 512 featuring a more robust and closed design. So that is a 512. Yeah, that's it right there. So it is. It's a 512T. It's the 512C is what that barn door looking thing is on the 9mm, and the 510 is the open version of the same thing. And they both have the multiple reticles. And for close in stuff, I like the circle without the dot. You just put that circle on anything, and you've got a shot. So it's just it's like a 32 MOA circle that you can put. You just put that on your target, and anything in that circle is going to get a bullet in it. I think that's just fine for close in work. And I think the 512's got a little bit bigger um, window. It's just more accessible because the whatever. I'm fucking. I don't know. All right. So it's just me. So you guys left, you fucking douchebags. No, just kidding. Well, you're not here to hear me say it, are you? Well, I guess I can shut this off.